thinking about buying a home in Houston right now? Before you make one of the biggest financial decisions of your life, you need to hear this. Because the truth about renting versus buying is not what most people think. Let's start with something that might surprise you. Right now in Houston, for a lot of people, renting is actually cheaper than buying. Yeah, you heard it right. Most people are assuming that owning automatically means you are making a smart financial move. But in today's market, that's not always the case. When you compare a monthly rent payment to what it actually costs to own a home, the numbers can look very different. And that's where a lot of people get caught off guard. Because when people think about buying a home, they usually focus on one thing, the mortgage. But the mortgage is just the beginning. What most buyers don't fully factor in are all the extra costs that come with owning a home. You have got property tax, which in Texas can be pretty high. You have got homeowner insurance. You have got maintenance because something will break. It's not if, it's when. And then there's repairs, except the ones that kind of show up at the worst possible time. A new roof, an AC unit in the middle of the Houston summer, plumbing issues. There are small expenses and they don't wait until you're ready. So while owning a home builds a long-term value, in the short term, it can feel a lot more expensive than people expect. Now, let's talk about renting, because renting gets a bad reputation. People love to say renting is throwing money away, but there's not the full picture. What renting actually gives you is flexibility. You're not tied down, you're not responsible for major repairs, you're not locked into the location for years. If your job changes, if your income changes, if your life changes, you can adjust much faster. And in a market that's constantly shifting, that flexibility can be a huge advantage. But there were things start to get misunderstood. Just because renting is cheaper right now doesn't automatically mean it's a better long-term decision. And just because buying is more expensive upfront doesn't mean it's a bad move either. The problem is that most people are looking for a one-size-fits-all answer. Should I rent or should I buy? But there's wrong question. Because buying a home isn't just about your monthly payment. It's about time. If you stay at home long enough, buying can absolutely build a serious wealth. Every payment you make goes towards something you own. Over time, you build equity. And historically, home values tend to appreciate. So, instead of paying a landlord, you are investing into your own future. But, and this is important, that's only really works if you give it enough time. So here's the truth about no one's talking about enough. The rent versus buy decision isn't really about the market. It's about your timeline. How long are you planning to stay? If you're only planning to be somewhere for a year or two, buying usually doesn't make sense. Between closing costs, fees, and market fluctuation, you may not stay long enough to benefit. But if you are thinking long-term, 3, 5, 7 years or more, that's where buying starts to make more sense financially. And here in Houston specifically, this decision can look very different depending on the area, price range, and your personal goals. Some neighborhoods makes more sense to renting in, others are better for long-term ownership. That's why blanket advice doesn't work. So if you're trying to figure out whether you should rent or buy in Houston, don't just follow what everyone else is doing. Make the decision based on your situation, your finances, your goals, your timeline. And if you want to help break that down, send me a message with the word home, and I'll help you figure out what actually makes the most sense for you.